Do you want to have a little fun when you're in Microsoft Teams meetings? Are you tired of looking at this Hollywood Squares style screen? Immersive 3D mode might be just what you're looking for. But is it a gimmick? Or is there a practical use scenario for it? That's what I'm here for. I'm Justin Vogel from Pragmatic Works. Let's explore immersive 3D mode together. The immersive experience is part of Microsoft's Mesh suite of tools. We're going into Teams, but you can also explore the Mesh toolkit and experience immersion with other things like a Meta VR headset, for example. Let's start with this. You must have an avatar. If you try to enter the immersive 3D space and you don't have an avatar set up already, you will be prompted to set one up then. You can make up to 3 avatars, and you can build from scratch or upload a photo and then make some tweaks. You must be 18 years old to make an avatar. I'm going to go to Teams to show you how to set up the avatar. If you already have one, then you can skip ahead a few minutes or continue watching to make sure you don't miss anything. Let's head over to Teams. All right, here I am in Teams, and you can see that I've selected my Apps button. And up here at the top, I'm going to type in my search bar, Avatars, and open that app. Now you can see I've created an avatar already, but using the plus sign over to the right, I can create 2 more, and I can do that in multiple ways. I can upload a photo, I can start from scratch, or I can duplicate my existing avatar and make changes from there. Let's dismiss for now, since I already have one made. I'll show you how to do some customization. But first, I know you're wondering, why are there no legs? Well, your avatar can be used in place of you in a regular Microsoft Teams meeting, a non-immersive Teams meeting. And that's usually from the torso up, like a typical view of yourself in a meeting. The avatar's mouth will move when you speak, although your hand gestures are not mimicked. However, your avatar will perform reactions or raise its hand when you click those buttons. So the legs would only be for the immersive experience. And it takes power to render everything in the immersive space. So the decision is no legs. Let's look at how to customize our avatar. The first thing we start with is skin tone. We can start with a base and then make adjustments from there. We can also, working our way across the top menu, change the face, starting with the face shape, the eyes, the eyebrows, and the nose. We even have more options like ears and lips, and continuing on into facial lines and wrinkles. Let's head over to hair. Hair options include hair color on the right side and hairstyle on the left. And there are many to choose from. Over here, we can choose our facial hair. Facial hair can be a different color or the same color as the hair on the top of the head, or we can go bald. We can also use makeup, including lash lines, blush, lipstick, and for now, I'll leave it on eyeshadow with none selected. The next thing is the body shape. So you can see here that we can choose from any of these bases and then make adjustments on the right side as needed. We can also choose to have prosthetic arms and hands. Finally, wardrobe selection. We can start with the primary color on the right, and we can start going through all of the different options for a t-shirt, outerwear like jackets, hats, and glasses. So these are all the options. I'm going to click Finish Customizing, and here is my avatar ready to go into a Teams meeting. I've got one set up. Let's head into the meeting. Here we are in a Teams meeting. I'm the only one in the meeting, but that's fine for demonstration purposes. Right now, my camera's off and my mic is off. Next to the camera button, I'm going to click the drop down, and I'm going to show you how to use that avatar before we enter the immersive space. So I'm going to click on Avatars, and you'll see the one that I've created. There he is. Let's turn that on. Now, as long as I unmute my microphone, when I'm talking, my avatar's mouth is moving. Now, it's not mimicking my hand gestures, but I can make it do some hand gestures, such as raise my hand, lower the hand, clap, or any of the normal reactions that we have when we are in a meeting. Now for now, I'm going to mute my microphone and switch back to my camera off of my avatar. To enter the Immersive 3D space, I'm going to click on View, scroll down to Immersive 3D space, and it takes just a few moments to load. So let's talk while it's loading a little bit about what's happening. So far, only I have entered the immersive space. If there were other people in the meeting, they would have to enter on their own. Immersive Space 3D can be disabled at the admin level. In a typical Teams meeting, we could have some people in the immersive space and some people not in the immersive space. It is an end user decision unless admin turns it off. So here we are in a meeting space. The screen in front of me on the wall would be where if anybody is sharing their screen, I would see what they're sharing. If anybody's talking, I would see them talking. If they're not in the immersive space, I would see them in gallery view on the wall right here. I could, if I wanted to, walk around this room by using the arrows or using Q, W, E, and S. W to walk, Q to go left, E to go right, and S to go backwards. I'm going to use the arrow keys and show you around the space. Now, if I hold down the arrow, I start running. So I can change that in my settings, but for now, it's defaulted to start running if I hold it down. You can see the glowing line around the space I'm in. This means that I'm still in the meeting space. I would be able to hear the meeting. The participants in the meeting would be able to hear me. And all of that would be included in any recording as long as I stay in the marked area inside the glowing line. If I exit this area, I will get notified. The same will happen when I re-enter the area. Let me show you. You can see that I have left screen share and I have left the audio area. So I cannot hear the meeting. If I speak, the meeting cannot hear me. So I have left the area. So now we're into just sort of having some fun, right? So before we get there, let me show you what would happen if I stayed in the meeting and I just wanted to maybe have a seat. Here's a seat available. If there were other people in the room, I would see them sitting here. But I'm just going to click on that seat and I'm now seated. And I can just turn myself so I can see the screen that is being presented. Besides walking, another way to get around, I'm going to go ahead and stand up by just holding down the up arrow. Another way to get around is to teleport. Now remember, if I leave this glowing line area, I'm no longer in the meeting. So let me just hold down, left click, hold down, and teleport myself to the fire pit. And then I can choose a seat, anything that's available. And here you can actually do fun things like roast marshmallows or just sit around and talk to other people that have left the meeting area and are sitting in this area with you. So as soon as we leave the meeting area, something called spatial audio is taking over, which means that the meeting could still be taking place, but I can't hear it and they can't hear me. However, people that have come over here into this fire pit area can hear me and I can hear them. That's spatial audio. And if I'm wearing headphones, if they're sitting to my left, I will hear them in my left ear. If they're sitting to my right, I will hear them in my right ear. That's spatial audio. And that's what happens when we leave the meeting space. For now, I'm going to go over here and just show you that you can play beanbag toss. Let's see if we can make one beanbag toss. We did it. 1 for 1. All right. So you can certainly enjoy having some fun time here. But I'm going to turn around and go down to where the orbs are. Down the steps. These orbs are, these orbs make different sounds. So if I press them, I can listen to the various sounds that they make, or the chimes that they make, or I can make a little jingle with some other people if we wanted to have some fun there. Right now, I'm going to go over here and look at the water. And While we're looking at this beautiful view, I can show you some of the avatar reactions and some of the settings that we could access from here. After this, I'll show you how to go to different environments because right now we're in the default Lakehouse environment. All right, of the 3 buttons at the bottom, first one is for reactions. We have event reactions across the top. So anything I do here, even though I'm out of the meeting space, I wouldn't know what's happening, but I could give them a thumbs up, right? But inside the meeting, you have event reactions. I also have avatar reactions that'll happen in the immersive space only. So other people in the immersive space would see me do things like the chef's kiss or thinking. We have many more reactions. Let me click on view more and we can look around here. We could do some club dancing. We could do the robot dance, perhaps mic drop. So these are all avatar specific. We can even click on this button here and use American Sign Language with our avatar. So you can have a bit of fun with that, playing with the different avatar reactions, but we do have the basic event reactions across the top as well. The left side is we would choose a seat based on the seating overview. Now, if I click this, it's going to take us back to the meeting area. The meeting area presented here has seats available. I'm going to choose the one closest to the screen and then show you by closing that and just looking left, I would be back in the meeting at this point. Let's look at some of the settings before we change our environment. Some of the settings that I wanted to show you, you can certainly play around in here, but I wanted to show you the controls. So how you move can be modified. So for example, I'm going to take off that run automatically. So when I press and hold the up arrow or when I press and hold W, my avatar does not start running automatically. We could also play around with the graphics and the sound. And we even have accessibility like a magnifier, contrasting color, and some audio options here as well. Let me close the settings and show you what other environments look like. The middle button of the options at the bottom are the environment settings. Now, if I do change the environment, this will change for everyone that's gone into the immersive space. So this button should be used cautiously. Right now, we're in the Lakehouse. I'm going to switch us to the workshop to show you how this could be used in a practical use scenario to have what we would call breakout rooms at a regular Teams meeting. Let's click apply. This is going to change for all participants that are in immersive mode. All right, as you can see, I'm in a different space. I'm in the workshop, and in the workshop, I have 4 different rooms to meet in. So let's say I wanted to go over here and meet in room number 2, right? Now I have left the meeting area again. I've been notified of that. So I'm going into spatial audio. So as soon as I enter this room, I've already left the meeting space. I'm entering this room. Anybody that comes with me, we can sit around the table and thanks to that spatial audio, we'll be able to hear each other and communicate with one another. But we have left the main meeting area. So this is just like a breakout room in a regular Teams meeting. Let's head back to the Lakehouse to wrap things up. All right, so the real question is the immersive 3D space a gimmick, or can you see a practical use for it? Well, I'm going to have a seat over here on this nice cushion and have that debate right now. Let's discuss it. What are some of the pros and cons of the immersive space? Well, number 1, let's start with a pro. It's fun. It's certainly fun to leave the meeting area and go roast marshmallows or play beanbags or look at the water. But it is something different, isn't it? So it's fun and it's different, but it can be very distracting for people and they could miss vital information when they leave the meeting space. Even if they stay in the meeting space with all of the avatar reactions and people wandering around within the meeting space, it can be very distracting. So they might miss important information. We also have to consider the amount of bandwidth. It takes a lot of bandwidth to have a lot of people in the immersive space. So we're going to experience performance issues at some point. But I think there's a practical use. You tell me what you think in the comments. But if expectations can be managed and avatars created ahead of time, perhaps we can make this very practical. I can envision a Friday afternoon meeting that is normally 30 minutes. As long as we say, join the meeting a little bit early, have the avatar created ahead of time. We're going to stay in the meeting space for 15 or 20 minutes, and then we're going to take 10 or 15 minutes to play around in the immersive space. I can see that being team building and good for organizational culture, as long as there are some parameters set and some guidelines created ahead of time. And try it more than once. The first time might not go well because everybody's still learning the ropes, but stick with it. See if there's a practical use for the immersive 3D space in Microsoft Teams in your organization. At the end of the day, it's less sterile and it's more realistic and fun. Well, I hope you learned a little bit about how to incorporate immersive 3D mode or mesh spaces into your organization's Teams meetings. In the end, with a little planning and upfront communication about best practices and expectations, it can be a really fun way to have virtual meetings, as long as your admin doesn't disable it. Happy meeting!